one more day.
Do you know hate? I know hate. Going back as far as I can remember, the very first comic book I ever read that I can remember reading was an Amazing Spider-Man issue. And while I didn't always regularly follow the series, it just feels like such a betrayal of the character to such a degree. And the story itself is just terrible. And you could have written it so well. And I can't imagine any other hero it being worse for someone to ultimately betray everything they stand for than Spider-Man making a deal with the literal devil. It just hits me right here. I just hate it that much. I mean, if you had to ask me, like, are there technically worse comics? Is there worse comics out there? Oh, yes. Cry for Justice comes to mind. Cry for Justice hurts me just a little bit more than One More Day, but One More Day is easier joke fodder as well. But it's always in the back of my mind anytime I see Amazing Spider-Man on the shelves. It's like, I'm never gonna pick you up until this is fixed. It's really hard to describe in that regard. I kind of equate it to the people who felt really bad about Hal Jordan when he went evil and murdered the entire Green Lantern Corps. Yeah, it feels kind of like that, and I wasn't around for that, so I don't understand it in that same regard as they do. But now I kind of do, because I hate One More Day that much. But yeah,
okay.
It's not. I admit it's not entirely rational.
No, nostalgic value, completely
Yeah.
understandable.
How did you come up with like the entity, how it would act and how it would react, like taking the form of 90s kid?
Mm-hmm.
And for the Pokemon comics that you reviewed, are you gonna do more of those comics?
I'll answer the second question first. I don't have any immediate plans to do more Pokemon comics, but I'm not ruling it out because many other people have donated other Pokemon comics to me. Now, the reveal of the entity and why it was missing number, and just with the visual, did I spoil it for you?
No, I said it was awesome.
Oh, thank you.
I got it. I just want to know how the process of how you
Did the effects?
yeah, that and acting for it to being really scary for it.
Like the character?
Well, the process for the voice of the entity was kind of simple. I was playing around in Cool Edit 2000, which if you use Adobe Audacity is basically the same thing but older. And I was just kind of figuring out ways of slowing down voices and speeding them up. And I was doing that for Lord Vice because I do the voice for Lord Vice, the voice for Vice. And it is very difficult to come up with the voice. Actually, what I do is I do a Lord Zed impression, and then I lower the pitch considerably for that and add an echo. And I was playing around with that, and I came up with this high-pitched voice for the entity going, human.
That's so creepy.
Yeah, and he's just saying human because that's what he's always calling Linkara. He doesn't call it. I love villains who don't call their enemies by their names. They call them like a title or a derogatory term, and that's what he's doing. He's calling Linkara derogatory. He's saying you are a human. You're pathetic. You're lower than me. You're small. You're human. And is doing it, and he's mocking him in a way in that regard. Every single victory that he has, and then you hear the high-pitched human, and I love it. And actually, some other people pointed out that as a Pokemon, technically he's saying what he is. He's saying, as a Pokemon possessing a human being, he's technically saying the only thing he can say as well: human. I didn't think of that, but that was clever too. I love that someone came up with that. But as for the process of the entity's appearance, I always love eyes. People say the eyes are the window to the soul, and I always love this idea that behind his eyes is something, behind 90s Kid's eyes is something like totally horrific that you can never see. And building on that, I had the idea of, okay, what if all behind his eyes there were just glitches? Static and like little pixels and all the things that make up a missing number. And so what I had to do was go into Adobe After Effects and go frame by frame around the eyes and then add it in, which is not easy because I like to move around. So I have to shift the mask over. I shift the mask over here and then shift the mask over here, and a few spots you can tell that it doesn't quite match up. And I'm trying, but I was desperate to get that episode out. But on Halloween, because damn it, it was gonna be scary and cool, and that's why near the end, I stopped doing it and just kind of had static everywhere. I couldn't take it anymore. I never want to show 90s Kid without the sunglasses, but I just couldn't. I was running out of time, had to just speed it out there and get it out in time, and that's why you only just see the static near the end there. But that's basically the process for it.
Okay.
All right, and from this side.